around and put on a really good race here. You're going to have options. You're going to have guys that are going to be right down on the berm. You're going to have guys going through the middle. You're going to have guys going through the top. I've been in street stock races here where it felt like I was at Talladega with, three wide racing. So I'm excited to see what these guys can do. A lot on the line tonight for our top two combatants here in the points. So buckle up. It's going to be fun.
Well, and speaking of those top two combatants, right now it is Hargreaves and Proudfoot up on the top of the practice chart, separated by a mere 1,000th of a second. So that bodes well for the running here today. Let's take a look at that championship standing, though. Only 9 points separating Proudfoot from Hargreaves. That is partially because of Proudfoot's off week last time out. It's something we very, very rarely talk about him having, but just didn't seem like he could get the car hooked up and together last time out, and that saw him fall down through the standings, not even making the feature. Billy Northcutt there in third, J.R. Shepard, Jeffrey Harden, Hunter Hill, Bobby Hayes, Chris Davis, John Wilson, and Joe Segala rounding out your top 10. So a good run there from everybody as we continue to filter our way down through the order. And crucially here tonight, this is going to be standard dirt racing affairs. So we are going to be dealing with the heat race format here. You go out, you set a couple of laps during qualifying, 4 solo laps over the course of 5 minutes. That's going to set the order for the heats. Then we move on into the heat races themselves. The top two will automatically transfer on. Then we move on to the last chance qualifiers, the C main and the B main. Quick little warm up there of 5 minutes. And then we head to the feature for a full 40-lap event, and 18 drivers going to be taking place in that feature. And crucially, John, there are 19 drivers out here, so somebody's going to be going home early.
Yeah, and where that changes things are in the heat race, in qualifying. You got a different mentality. You've got to go. You've got to get a good lap. You've got to finish up front there because you don't want to be in a position where you're fighting for your life in that last chance race to try to get in. Guys, I think are going to get a little more aggressive just because they have to. They've got to get as far up the running orders as they can to make sure that they make this race. So, again, that's all added. Now, hopefully the leaders don't get caught up in any of the guys trying to make up, trying to get in, the fringe guys that are going to be trying to get those spots. So, a lot of things can happen here. Like I said, a big track and a lot of ways to get yourself in trouble.
Yeah, a lot of big ways to get yourself in trouble here as we watch Joe Segala following in the tire tracks here of John Wilson. Both of them crossing over the start-finish line. Looks like there that Segala going to be running a little bit of a higher line, a little bit of a slider line there for John Wilson. And that is exactly what you were talking about a little bit earlier, John, that it is going to be multiple different ways to try to get this track to work. Some of that's going to be reading the track. Some of that, I think, is just going to be by grunt force trying to get yourself where you want to be.
Yeah, you've got to pass them where they're not. So, if you got a guy running your lane on the bottom, then you're going to have to move up top. And the good news is you're going to be able to move up top. You can get around there. But as you see Segala running like a mini slider line, the thing about these cars, when they get in the corner, because they're so heavy, they do move. It's really, really tough to kind of get around the corner on a rope, so to speak. So these guys are going to move around, and there's contact actually between them. But you can actually run a full slider line. You can diamond the corners. You can arc it around the top. You can arc it around the bottom. The big thing is about doing that now, and this is where we talk about getting yourself in trouble. You got to know what's going on around all 4 corners of your car, because if you don't and you change lanes, you could end up in a wreck or wrecking somebody else. So your radar really has to be up here tonight.
Yeah, you've really got to be on it, making sure you know exactly where you're going, how you're going, and just where everybody is. That's where the virtual spotter or a real-life spotter can really come in to help you out here when you're running around this circuit. There you see Wilson still able to keep a little bit of an advantage over Segala there. Your top 5 as they run right now, by the way, that is Hargreaves, Proudfoot, Loomis, Best, and Jason Dill. Billy Northcutt, who we often see up at the top of the charts, he is back down in 6th place. J.R. Shepard, who normally tends to be a little bit of a bottom feeder, he's down in 11th. This is probably a track that's not necessarily going to suit the Different Path Motorsports driver.
Well, actually, that bottom can work. I've won races here in these street stocks, hooking that bottom and catfishing around here. The time that you're looking at on the speed chart, though, we can't put too much stock into them because, well, sometimes some guys come out a little bit later in the practice and the track's worn in, it's got the good knocked off, so they're not going to get the lap times the guys that were here early and on the track early and had a prime track to kind of get around here on. So I'll be interested to see if JR and Northcutt and some of those other guys don't go up there and challenge Hargraves and Proudfoot for those top spots and qualifying.
Yeah, we'll have to see how they are able to do. And remember there, John Wilson had a fantastic top 5 run last time out. Really did a good job. He's going to be hoping to be able to carry on from some of that good success. Also, I think Jason Best, always a little bit of a bridesmaid here, a driver who always seems to get caught out in some bad luck, some bad action out on track, running around in 4th right now. That's a good omen there for him, but as you said, we can't read too much into these practice times. And ooh, there you saw John Wilson catching that berm on the inside of the track. Now, that's something that's pretty unique here to Knoxville and can really throw the cars around if you're not careful.
Oh, yeah. That berm can mess you up so many different ways, especially going in corner entries where you normally get into it. But if you're trying to diamond the corner, you can get it on corner exit. And what that will do is upset the car. Not only will it slow you down, it might throw you in the outer lane. So if you got someone like right out to your outside, you could end up in their door if you hit that just at the right point.
And that is about the last thing you want to do. There we watch, though, Brandon Proudfoot leading in the championship, as we said, by 9 points. He was beaten to the championship last season by William Hargraves, courtesy a couple of rounds that he had to miss. Now he's going to be back there trying to regain the crown that he has held for so many times. Only about a minute and a half left to go here in this opening warm-up session as we continue to watch Segala and Wilson just trading back and forth here, trying to feel out the track. Now, the other crucial thing to remember here is we will send out the virtual water trucks after practice is over, so then it will be a completely new, fresh track, but from then on out, we're not doing anything. It continues to wear from the drop of the green flag from qualifying all the way to the end of the race.
Yeah, and once that track wears, and that's a cool thing about it, and this is a thing I love the most about dirt, that these guys are going to have to move around and search. One lap something might work, 5 laps later it no longer works. You've got to read the track throughout the night and know where to put your car at the right spot. And the guys that can do that, we've talked about it. Brandon Proudfoot's really good at doing that. That does give him an advantage. You've got to do that, and I just think it makes exciting racing.
Yeah, it certainly does. The other thing that we're going to have to keep an eye out for is that setting sun coming down the front straightaway here. That could throw, or it's coming off the back straightaway there a little bit, very bright in those drivers' eyes. And that could lead to a couple of little kerfluffles as they come down. We ride on board with Segala here. See how that is right in drivers' eyes. That is absolutely blinding, John.
Absolutely, and guys that are in VR and stuff like that, it's going to be worse than the guys that are running on the screen. So we can talk about some of the different hardware things that people have. Some people are on single screens, some people are on triple monitors, some people are in virtual reality. And I'll tell you, I run VR, and there's times that I wish that I could either put my sunglasses on or get a dark visor going down that back straightaway here.
Yeah, exactly. They're going to be really hoping to be able to do all of that. But here as they go, the checkered flag flies in the air for practice to be over as everything is said and done. And now it is time to put the money on the track. It is go time. Time for qualifying. And first one out of the pits is going to be the 22 of Brandon Proudfoot.
This is a little different. I think he's sending a message to the field here tonight. He's got a lot on the line. We usually see him late to the server, and then one of the last guys to take a Q run. But he's out here and on it right away.
Yeah, out here and on it, and you're right. He normally does wait to go out a little bit more as they go. And there comes Proudfoot working on that high lane. Watch for him to start high and then maybe work down low. Try to carry as much momentum as possible before getting onto a lap. There, he's already cutting down low as he comes down out onto the main straightaway. We'll wait to start getting these times here very shortly as there we go. First one on the board, Proudfoot with a 22.818. Is anybody else going to be able to beat that?
Yeah, he caught that berm though over in 3 and 4, so he's going to try to probably get a little better lap here on the board here with this one, I hope.
And immediately, William Hargraves is able to bump up ahead of Proudfoot there to the tune of about 31 thousandths of a second. So good run there. Hargraves doing what he normally does and pulling back down into pit lane. Joe Segalo with a good time. That'll get him up into P4. Still waiting for over half of the field to be able to put their times down on the board as Jason Best is able to go 8th fastest there in the number 47 that we watch on your screen. He too catches a little bit of that berm. The 37 here now trying to work their way around, seeing what Zachary Loomis is going to be able to get as they come down in out of turn 4. Waiting for those times to start being counted. John Wilson crosses over the line, not going to see an improvement. Loomis up into P2.
It's a great lap by a relative newcomer here, so nice to see some fresh faces up front.
Yes, indeed. A really fantastic run for Zachary Loomis. Still waiting for times from Vickers, Northcutt, Shepard, and Menda, but all 4 of them are out on track. Proudfoot right now out there as well, trying to see what he is going to be able to get done here, but not seeing a lot of improvement. Menda up into P3. That's going to demote Brandon Proudfoot all the way down into P4. That is not what the 22 wants to see here today. Still waiting for a time from Thomas Vickers. Hargraves, Shaw, and Northcutt look like they're down in pit lane, but expect them to come out before the end of this session. Vickers looking pretty good there with a purple second sector time. That'll see him get into P6.
Vickers is another relative newcomer here, so again, fresh faces. It's good to see that here.
Yeah, very good to see that indeed for all of these drivers. We focus here now on Kevin Davis as he works his way around trying to see if there's going to be anything to be had here for that driver. Little bit sideways, little bit off there, and indeed the 121 going to call it a stop right there. But here comes the number 2. That is Thomas Vickers, who little bit in the pits there for the number 09 of Jason Dill. Not entirely sure what happened to Jason there. That may have been a little bit of an excursion he didn't plan on. Here is J.R. Shepard, though, trying to improve a little bit.
So far, I am seeing most everybody right along that bottom, right against that berm here. So, you know, we have to keep that in mind, too, when these heat races go. If that's where everybody thinks the fastest line is, at least for the first, maybe first heat race, probably even for the second, guys are going to be fighting for that bottom line here. That'll probably create some excitement for us.
And speaking of excitement, the 00 of Billy Northcutt putting a great time down on the board with a 22.692. That's going to be pole position for now, bumping William Hargraves off the pole and crucially demoting Brandon Proudfoot all the way down into 5th. So that is not what he wants to see. Hargraves, though, is back out on track right now. He is coming down hard on that lone lane. He drives the car off the corner a little bit, trying to carry as much momentum as possible. How is Hargraves going to do coming across the line? It doesn't look like that's going to be too much of an improvement. He is able to improve by a couple of hundredths of a second, but that's not going to be enough to get him over his Dirt Panda teammate of Billy Northcutt.
Yeah, Billy, the second half of this season has really come on and shown a lot of speed, and it's good to see that. And I think he picked up a win earlier this season too. So, yeah, he's no slouch, that's for sure.
Indeed, he is not. There's only about 10 seconds remain here in qualifying, and it looks like there that Northcutt and Hargraves are both calling it quits. So that means that Billy Northcutt will be your pole sitter here. Hargraves and Loomis will be leading off in pole position for the heat races. Proudfoot's going to have to settle for second in that second heat race. But here we go, bringing you through heat race number 1. It will be Billy Northcutt lining up in pole position, followed by Jason Menda, Thomas Vickers, and Robbie Robinson. Jeffrey Harden lines up P5, followed by Kevin Davis and Michael Menes in P7.
Yeah, and here in Bootleg, we do get people that get to choose which lane they want to go in, and I have to believe that Billy's going to stay right there on the bottom.
Yeah, at least here for the opening couple of runs, I have to agree with you that the bottom's going to be the way to be, but we'll have to see if that changes things up a little bit as things go along. By the way, new paint scheme there for the 45 of Jason Menda. Love seeing that out there as they make their way out onto the track right now. So, John, starting low, that is your key here for Billy Northcutt, but what else can these drivers do in this first heat race? What else are you going to be watching for?
Well, it's going to be a fight to the bottom, which means if everybody remembers the old Bristol, where you got around Bristol and to get around a guy, it was a bump and run because everybody was fighting for the bottom. I think that we may see that a little bit here to try to get people to get up out of the way and get out of the groove. So you're going to have to root them up out of the way to get around them on the bottom here. But you look for that, and then also guys that make that mistake, get that left front tire up on that berm and shoot out. Look for both of those things here in this first heat.
Well, we will have to see how that comes to pass here. 7 drivers in this first heat. The 2 automatically advancing on. Everybody else is having to go back to those LCQs, the C and the B main. But right now, it is Billy Northcutt's field to be able to control. As here he comes to the line right now, coming around, waiting for that iRacing pace truck to scamper off down into pit lane. And indeed, scamper it does. Control the field now, goes to the 00, holds them through 3 as they come into 4. And Northcutt gets on the loud pedal and gets a good jump on the rest of the field. Menda's going to try to carry that advantage there around the outside, but it's going to be Thomas Vickers that has the preferred line down to the inside. Noah's Ark for 2nd and for 4th as they run through the corner. Doesn't look like Menda's able to carry too much momentum, but he's still going to keep it side by side.
Yeah, he is holding his own out there for right now, but I do think that bottom line is going to prevail over the long run. But we got quite a battle back there for that final for 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
Yeah, indeed we do. Menda looking like he's got a little bit of momentum there on the high line as they come out of turn 2 for the 2nd time, but Vickers resolutely sticking down onto the low side as they come through. Menda getting a little bit more sideways. That's going to give a slight advantage over to Vickers, but momentum should favor across. As they crossed over the start-finish line, Vickers was just able to have a nose ahead here starting on lap 3, but it looks like the outside lane here through 1 and 2 is the place to be. Big blink though there for Vickers. That is not for Menda. For Vickers rather, that is not what you want to see.
Yeah, now he slid up the track when he did that, and it kind of got into Menda there, and Menda's going to take a little bit of advantage of it and pull out in front here. Remember, that is the final transfer spot, so you got to remember, we got guys going home, so you never know what will happen in those Bs, so it's really important to get the 2nd spot.
Yes, it is, and it looks like Jason Menda is now able to be fully clear of Thomas Vickers. Doesn't shut the door, but Vickers shuts the door on himself, running over the berm there a little bit on the entry to 3. That could open up a little bit of an attack from Jeffrey Harden from behind, potentially, as Menda's now got about a 1.5 car length advantage with 2 laps to go here at Knoxville in Heat 1. We keep our eyes focused there on Harden and Kevin Davis in the 121. Davis running a little bit wide off of the corner right now as they come down into 3 and 4 for the penultimate time.
One more time around, and Menda is in control of that 2nd spot, but 3rd place still looks like it's being challenged here between Harden and Vickers.
We ride on board with Kevin Davis right here as, ooh, that was Harden getting up and over onto the berm. Is that going to give an opportunity here for Davis? He certainly thinks so. Takes a look down to the inside. Contact there between him and the loose lugs driver. But up at the front of the field, it is no mind to anybody because that is Billy Northcutt taking victory here in Heat 1. Jason Menda following him home. Thomas Vickers in 3rd.
What a great way to start the night.
A fantastic way to start the night. Let's run you through that final finishing order for heat race number 1. As we said, Northcutt and Menda automatically advancing on. Vickers, Harden, Davis, Robinson, and Menes, they're going to have to go back into those B and C mains. But now we get ourselves ready here for heat race number 2, 2 of 3 on the night. And it's going to be William Hargraves and Brandon Proudfoot lining up in the front row. Those are the 2 championship contenders here. And remember, you score points all the way through this night, so that is going to be crucial who can be able to get the advantage there. Behind them, J.R. Shepard and John Wilson, then followed by Grady Wade, Bobby Hayes, and Kevin Nunn to round out your 7-car grid.
You know, after watching Menda prevail on the outside there, that last one, which was a big surprise, to be honest with you, you know, these other guys have probably seen that now and are probably going to try to drive a little bit harder on that outside line just because they've seen it work. And though now that I'm seeing that we've got a little bit of a nice, long, slick strip going through 3 and 4, you're going to see guys split that strip. Guys are going to be below it, and some guys are going to be above it. And I think we're going to see a lot of side-by-side racing here in the 2nd heat.
I think you're right about that one. Crucially here, though, William Hargraves again choosing that lower lane. That is where he is opting to be and to start this race. He will have control of the field once the iRacing pace truck pulls down pit lane. But what is Proudfoot going to be able to do to respond? Is he going to be able to carry that momentum around the outside, maybe get a little bit of an advantage, buy himself some breathing room over Hargraves? That is really what it's all going to be. This race is going to come down to what happens in that front row, I think. As here we see the iRacing pace truck heading down pit lane, control the field, going over to Hargraves. Hargraves waits and gets on the loud pedal, already clear of Brandon Proudfoot by the time they cross over the time of the scoring stripe. It's still too wide back there for P3 between J.R. Shepard and John Wilson. Wilson running high, Shepard running low. Proudfoot, meanwhile, stalking behind the tire tracks of William Hargraves.
Yeah, he sure is, and both of them kind of get their tires up on that cushion there, that berm there on the inside, so neither one of them really gain or lose an advantage there. J.R. Shepard's moved into third. What a great start to this feature, though, or for this heat race.
Yes, indeed. A little bit more side-by-side there in the back of the field between Bobby Hayes and Grady Wade, as now there is not a lot separating these drivers. We take a look out of back here of the different path. Motorsports driver of J.R. Shepard left the door open just a little bit for John Wilson, but Wilson unable to walk on through it. And look at that. Shepard starting to close in here a little bit on the back of Brandon Proudfoot, as that gap's only about a car length as they work their way through 1 and 2 on lap number 3. A lot of counter steering there, and again, we talked about that sunlight and how that is going to be blinding coming off of turn 2. They're going to really run into a problem there with that. Hargraves starting to list up the track a little bit more. He's going to try to see if that is going to be able to be attacked by Brandon Proudfoot, but not looks like he's going to be able to get the nose in here quite early enough.
Yeah, two different lines here these guys are taking. Hargraves is doing a little bit more of a slider line, and it looks like that when he slides out, it looks like the 22, Brandon Proudfoot, tries to turn under him and get that nose, and there you go, a little contact. Got that nose in there.
Yes, he did. A little bit of contact, a little bit of that Bristol bump and run, as you said, and that's going to put Proudfoot down onto the inside. Tries to be able to get the grip off the corner, but momentum is going to go back in favor William Hargraves. 0.1 there for the 71, as now they dive down into 3 and 4, coming to the white flag, and it looks like Hargraves has this under control, but winds up on the track a little bit more, carrying momentum. Still has about a half a car length lead here over Brandon Proudfoot. Now Proudfoot goes to follow him up on that higher line, abandoning the low line down by the berm. Doesn't look like that's going to give him an advantage there coming out of turn 2, but as they dive down now into turn 3, it looks like Proudfoot's going to be closer down on the low line, maybe trying to get a little bit of a run here. Hargraves gets a little bit sideways, but it's all going to be for naught as the 71 takes victory here in heat race number 2. And that'll bring us to our final finishing order there. William Hargraves and Brandon Proudfoot, your two that automatically advance on into the feature race. J.R. Shepard, the first of those that are going to have to compete in the B and C mains. Then it was John Wilson, Grady Wade, Bobby Hayes, and Kevin Nunn rounding out your 7-car field. As we get ourselves ready here for the third and final heat race of the night, it's going to be Zachary Loomis lining up in pole position, Cody Shaw to his outside. Joe Segala with a great qualifying run is going to see him in third place, followed by Jason Dill, with Jason Best and Butch Baker rounding out your 6-car grid. And, well, John, we've been 2 races down here thus far. What are we learning? What are we starting to see as some characteristics about this track?
Right now, right above the slick is where you want to be, and then that seems to be the quick way around. I'm going to be interested to see here if the leader here doesn't take the outside. I think I would probably give it serious consideration to do so. But I'll tell you, the previous heat race there, watching Hargraves and Proudfoot, I guess now would be a good time to mention next week. I know that this is championship night, but next week we've got the Shootout, which is a championship race, and we can watch those two guys go at it again, but not in street stocks, but in pro late models. So that should be a lot of fun to see.
Yeah, it should be indeed, and that, again, will be next Friday here on the Virtual Grip Network, so make sure you tune in for that. We'll have a little bit more information later on in the broadcast, but right now, it does look like the number 37 of Zachary Loomis is going to be starting down on the low side, so not taking your advice there, John, but he is going to be starting where we've seen everybody else start up to this point. they work their way through turn 3 and 4, a little bit closer to the pace truck than we've seen on the last couple of starts here, waiting for that pace truck to head off on into pit lane. There it goes, and Loomis immediately gets on the loud pedal and gets himself a nice little jump there over Cody Shaw. That advantage is going to be by about a car length and a half, but Loomis already flirting with that berm, catching it really badly, and now here comes Cody Shaw as they come up. Shaw going to be looking to the outside, makes contact with the outside wall. That's not going to help him out.
No, that messed up his whole corner. It messed up his entry, his center point. Let's see if he can recover here and come back up and challenge.
Yeah, we'll have to see indeed, and some of the physics actually been changed here on the most recent iRacing patch to prevent wall riding and prevent drivers from gaining an advantage from making contact with that outside wall. But good little battle starting to shape up here back down in P3. That's Joe Segala. Jason Best's down to his inside there in the number 47, trying to take a look there, not able to get it done as they cross over the timing and scoring stripe to complete lap 2, and now everybody's going to fall into line right above that slick stuff, although it looks like a little bit of a crossover there for Best.
As Segala's holding steady there, and he's up on a little bit higher than what Best is. That's going to open the door for Best as he gets down the front straightaway here, about halfway up on Segala's door.
About halfway up on Segala's door, and he's going to keep trying to push that along. Up in front there, Cody Shaw looked like he was going to try to threaten there a little bit on Zachary Loomis, but that wasn't going to play out. Here we get a great aerial shot as they go down into the corner. Noah's Ark. Best lifts up quite a bit. Amazing! He didn't make contact there with Joe Segala. I thought for sure that was going to end in tears.
Yeah, I sure did. I thought so too. He sure crossed lanes there pretty quickly, and it was a good job to probably pedal it just enough not to get into Segala.
And just enough not to, as now we watch here again. Best, catching the berm. That throws him all kinds of cockeyed, and that is not going to be a good help there for Jason Best, but somehow he's able to keep it relatively close together. White flag in the air as they go single file across the timing and scoring stripe. Here comes the 99 down to the inside of Zachary Loomis. He's not going to be able to get the job done there as they come down off of turn 2. Still single file once again, diving down into 3. Shaw down to the inside of Loomis. Segala carrying momentum around the high side. That's going to be Best trying to be able to better him as they go across the line, and it's not going to be for anything as Loomis and Shaw will automatically advance. Segala and Best actually making contact there as they crossed over the stripe.
What a great race that was. Those top 4 were just under a blanket. I mean, there was no separation between them.
No, there really wasn't, as there you can see Loomis and Shaw advancing on, and now we get our way into the 8-lap C main here tonight. And this is going to be very crucial because we will have drivers going home. The 7th place driver will not be able to make it to the feature event here tonight. So these drivers will be Thomas Vickers lining up in pole position, followed by Joe Segala, John Wilson, Kevin Davis, Butch Baker, Bobby Hayes, and then Michael Menes rounding out your 7-car field for this 8-lap event. And John, we're seeing that slicks part of the track really start to become more and more prevalent. Looks like the line's moving up farther and farther on the track, and the berm is getting harder and harder to deal with.
Yeah, because part of that is because your left tire or right tires are right below the slick. If you get into that berm, it pitches you right into the slick, and then your car really starts to get a little bit more difficult to control. But I will say this, the further up they push that cushion, that's when you'll start to see that bottom line right along that berm start to come back. I don't know that you'll see it in either one of these consies, but you'll see it in the feature.
I think you will as well, as it does look like Thomas Vickers, though, again, starting down on the low side. John, is that the option you take here, or when is the time to maybe start up on the high line?
You know, I would probably take the high line just so I could get my car straightened into turn 1 there. But, you know, you're going to get a good launch off the bottom. There's still a lot of tack down there right as you come out of the corners. So when you control the feature, or when you go, you get an advantage anyway. So right now, I mean, there's no downside, I suppose, to using the bottom other than how you can set yourself up into turn 1.
All right, well, we don't have a whole lot to wait to find out how these drivers are going to be able to set themselves up into turn 1 right now. As we come through turn 3 right now, iRacing Pace Truck scampers off down into pit lane, getting control of the field over to Thomas Vickers. Vickers waits and now gets going. Wow, talk about a jump there for the number 2. That is a car length and a half, almost 2 car lengths over Joe Segala there. Segala caught a little bit napping, and John Wilson's going to try to send something up down to the inside. Not going to play out. Wilson has to check up his momentum a little bit, and now that's going to give an opportunity here for Kevin Davis to maybe try around the outside.
Yeah, it looks like they're almost wanting to go 3 wide for that 3rd spot there. In fact, it looked pretty close to being that way. And some contact between Davis and Wilson here.
Yeah, a little bit of bumping and bagging. Oh, Davis poking his nose in there. A little bit of side-by-side, a little bit of how you doing between him and John Wilson. Now contact down to the inside there on Butch Baker. And that's a big, big hip check to John Wilson. A great job there for the Canadian driver, the number 75, to keep that all together.
And that's really going to cost Wilson. Wilson's going to fall all the way back to the outside looking in.
No, it certainly is not, but we've got a battle for the lead of this race as Joe Segala down to the inside there of Thomas Vickers as they work their way through 3 and 4, coming to complete lap 3 right now. Segala a little bit sideways, a little bit cockeyed as he came out of the corner. That certainly didn't help him out a whole lot, but now as they continue to work their way through, Segala again looking like he's getting it wrong through the slick stuff.
Yeah, he's pushing, and I think that's getting him into trouble. He needs to calm down and just figure a line and hit it, you know. But he's getting some challenge, and he's going to get turned by Baker.
Oh, that's going to send him right around there, and that's a big kerfluffle on the back of the field, including Menny's, Baker, Hayes, and Segala.
Wow.
Almost everybody caught up in that, and they're still bumping and banging.
They are, and whoever can pull away from this is gonna, Baker's just gonna take it to the pits. So that's gonna drop Baker on the outside looking in.
Yeah, it is, and that, remember, is going to be the driver that does not advance on as they cross over the line, though here up at the front of the field, it is a little bit more of a calm affair at the moment with 3 laps to go. Coming around here, let's call it 2.5 as they cross over the backstretch right now. Vickers leading over Kevin Davis by about 0.5 of a second. Let's go ahead and call that about 5 car lengths, and then a massive gap back to John Wilson.
Yeah, John almost just spun it out right in the slick there. But John, I tell you, a lap and a half ago, he was on the outside looking in, and the field was pulling away from him. Now he sits 3rd. You just never know what's going to happen. That's why I was saying in the heat races and all that, it's so important to try to get out of that and punch your ticket right away.
Yeah, exactly. It's definitely what you want to try to do here as we're going to check out a quick replay of exactly what happened to cause all of that calamity. Just a little bit of contact there with Joe Segala. That spins Segala around Butch Baker. And then there you can see Hayes and Menny's really nowhere to go for any of those drivers. But we've got to come back to live pictures right now because Thomas Vickers brings the number 2 out of turn 4 and takes the checkered flag here in the C-Main.
That is a lot of action packed into 6 laps on a half-mile track. We got one more of these yet to go.
Yes, indeed we do, as there Bobby Hayes is going to cross over the start-finish line to be able to advance on, thankfully. And let's run you through that order there. Vickers, Davis, Wilson, Segala, Menny's, and Hayes, the 6 drivers that will advance on. Butch Baker not able to make it on, and so he will be the first driver to not make it home. Now we have the B main coming up here, and in that it's going to be J.R. Shepard in pole position, followed by Jeffrey Harden with Jason Best and Grady Wade behind them. Robbie Robinson is P5, followed by Jason Dill and Kevin Nunn in P7, and crucially, once again here, only 6 drivers advance on, John, so if you are not in that top 6, you're going home early.
Yeah, and they're already having problems getting off pit road. Robbie Robinson pitched it sideways and nosed it into the inside wall up there just trying to get out on the track. So I don't know how that bodes for the feature, for this feature, but I think buckle up. I think we're going to see some action again.
I certainly think we are as well, as they get themselves going around here, lining everybody up. J.R. Shepherd looks again like he's going to be starting down on the low side. We haven't seen anybody making that move up to the high.
No, we haven't, and I suspect we're probably not at this point. So, I mean, like I said, everybody is different, and I don't think there's a right or wrong lane to choose at this point. That leader does get such an advantage to be able to fire first. So, at this point, I guess it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. As they now come out of turn 2 here on the pace lap, another 8-lap affair in the books, getting ready to go racing here. J.R. Shepherd going to be leading the field to the green flag right now. Harden is outside. Jason Best already looking a little bit feisty there, closing in on the back as Shepherd waits longer than we've seen a lot of drivers do, but there he finally gets on it, and that's going to help for Best to get a little bit of a good tow there on Jeffrey Harden, as Best is going to dive down to the inside. J.R. Shepherd doing what he loves, feeding down on the bottom. Nice slider there from Best. He's going to be able to cut off any momentum of Jeffrey Harden and hold on to P2.
Yeah, JR rode that berm all the way around 1 and 2 and didn't lose the lead. That was a really good piece of driving there.
Yes, indeed, as we've got a little bit of side-by-side farther back in the field here. That's Grady Wade and Jeffrey Harden as they go. Grady Wade drifts up, a little bit of contact, almost spinning out there is the number 11. He's able to catch it back up underneath him and stay up into 5th place, but that got very, very sketchy for the number 11 of Grady Wade.
Yeah, these guys have to remember, they're all locked in here. All these positions up front, and they're locked in now. You know, there's got to be a risk-reward component here to putting yourself in a bad spot or putting somebody else in a bad spot. You don't want to get yourself knocked out just because of some contact when you have plenty of pace to make it. So that's got to be in these guys' mind, you'd hope.
You would certainly hope so, but they are fighting tooth and nail like there is no tomorrow, as Best gets a pretty good launch there off of turn 4. He's going to be able to hold that car in. Now Jeffrey Harden trying to close in behind. Also Jason Dill there in the number 9, resolutely running on that high line. That seems to be where Dill prefers to go, and he's able to carry some pretty good momentum off of that corner as well, so not too bad there for him. But J.R. Shepherd leading the way right now in the B main, running right through the slick stuff.
Yeah, he's got his left tires on the tack and his right in the slick, and he's making it work, and he's holding off Jason Best. I think Best is actually a little quicker than JR at this point, but just can't get around him.
I think you may be right about that, but a little bit of a better exit there off of turn 2 may help Jason Best be able to get on by. Shepherd's going to change up the strategy, and here comes Best. Side by side, very, very close there between the two of them, and they're going to be perfectly parallel as they cross over the timing and scoring line with 3 laps to go. Now it's Best down on the low side again, throws a slider. Shepherd boxed in, unable to do it, and Best takes the lead of the race.
A nice move by Jason Best. Nice clean move to take over the lead here, and now he controls this. JR falls back to 2nd, but look at Dill trying to get around Harden there for that 3rd spot also.
2 laps to go here in Knoxville for the B main. Looks like a little bit of a check up there from J.R. Shepherd, not wanting to run to the side of Jason Best. Best gets a big clobber there of the berm on the exit of turn 2, though, as they go side by side. Dill back for P3 right now between Harden and Dill. Right now, the driver in the danger zone is Kevin Nunn, and he looks like he's going to stay there as he's about 2 seconds off the back of the best of the field. As here comes the white flag in the air for the B main here. It's a battle for the lead. J.R. Shepherd down to the inside. Jason Best up to the high side as they come out of turn 2. It's advantage Best as they go. Jason Dill finally able to make that high line work to perfection. Looked like he was able to hold on to 3. Shepherd has to check up his momentum. Is that going to be enough for Jason Dill to be able to get on by? No, it doesn't look like it, but it's going to be Jason Best at the line, followed by Shepherd, followed by Dill. And my goodness gracious, that will be a fantastic way to end out our Consi races there. Best, Shepherd, Dill, Harden, Wade, and Robinson automatically advancing on. Kevin Nunn in 7th place. He unfortunately is not going to be making it to the big show here today. But John, this is going to lead us into our 5-minute warm-up session. And this is so crucial for drivers, especially drivers like Proudfoot, like Hargraves, that weren't in those Consi races because the track has changed so much over the past couple of minutes.
Oh yeah, the guys that were in that first heat, second heat, yeah, the track is going to be completely different. So this is going to give them opportunity to get familiar with, what the track is doing. allow them to get out there and make those laps that are crucial. And I tell you, I wouldn't just find one lane and run it. I would be running the bottom to see what your car will do, slider lines up top. I would probably run a different line every single lap I run here just to figure out what my car will do in certain situations. Run sliders, dime in the corners, do everything you need to do to get that car shook down and figure out what you're going to do with it.
Well, we've already seen just how effective a slider line can be, as proven by Jason Best there in that B main event, as he was able to throw some really nice sliders to get his way forward. Are we going to start seeing a little bit more of that here as this track continues to wear in? And I think in particular, John, as the cushion starts to move its way up the track a little bit more.
Oh, I think so. You know, if you notice, too, though, that those guys were primarily on the bottom this last one, too, and that's the first time in a couple of races we've seen them on the bottom. So, you know, everybody was watching that. So, but when you have the slider opportunity here, which you do on this track, and this is just a great track for it, you can never count it out. Guys can hit that and get that tack on corner entry and just basically drive it across the slick and right across somebody's nose to complete that slide job about mid-corner here. Look for that to happen, I would think, often here in this race.
All right, as we look at the times being set down right now, it does look like Jason Best is actually leading the way here with a 23.156. Northcutt, Hardin, Mennies, and Proudfoot, the rest of your top five. Hargraves has yet to set a lap as Bobby Hayes going up to the top of the charts with 23.120. That is a lightning quick drive there for the Fistful of Water driver in the number 13. But we are about halfway down here in this warm-up session as we watch Jeffrey Hardin right here. Brandon Proudfoot actually right up ahead of him. He and Billy Northcutt playing around a little bit here. Northcutt just sent a big slider. Looks like Proudfoot's been playing with the high line. Wouldn't be surprised to see if he maybe dives low here in the next lap or two.
Yeah, and going back to Bobby Hayes, he's starting 17th in the field tonight, so he's at the back and he's got a fast car. So when you, as a driver, when you click off a fast lap and you're buried, you're excited. You're like, okay, I can move forward, but you got to be careful and be careful coming up through the pack. You don't want to get yourself in a wreck trying to get around guys.
No, you certainly do not, and that brings up a good point here when we get to that feature race. 40 laps and caution laps will not count around this speedway, so that is certainly going to change things up a little bit. We will have double file starts and restarts up until the last 10 laps of the race, when it will be single file. And we've seen a couple of times, John, that can really shake up the complexion of the race. Not only just a simple restart, but also having that single file restart with under 10 to go.
Yeah, I mean, either way, it brings people back, you know, bumper to bumper. Either they're side by side or they're single file. It gives you the opportunity to complete a pass. So if you were a little bit quicker than that guy in front of you, that's your chance. You got to figure a way to make it work, and you got to make it work quickly, because once they start getting ramped up and getting that momentum with these cars, that pass is going to become harder and harder to do. So that's why you're going to see probably some pretty aggressive stuff on restarts, and that's only because that's their opportunity.
Yeah, that's going to be your best chance to be able to get on by. We take a look here at Grady Wade in the number 11, currently running it down in 13th place right now. I can tell you that Hargraves has put a time down on the board, but he's only good enough for 7th place. That's along with his teammate there, Billy Northcutt, who runs in 6th. Plenty of drivers still working things out here in the final 30 minutes. Proudfoot and Northcutt continuing to run just side by side, figuring out what it's going to be like to run multiple wide racing here.
Yeah, it's smart. Like I said, every lap I probably put my car at a different spot on the track just so I knew what it would do, because you can't always count on running the same line. There's other guys out on the track. You know, you got to figure out what your car is going to do in situations. If you're forced high or if you're forced low or forced right through the slick, you've got to know how much your car is going to move around and what you got to do to get it through the corner.
Yeah, you really and truly do, as there comes the checkered flag for the 5-minute warm-up, and that's going to lead us directly in to this 40-lap feature event here at Knoxville Speedway, the season finale. Now, we will be trying to do a little bit of math behind the scenes to let you know how things are going to end up between Hargraves and Proudfoot, but just assume whoever finishes ahead of the other will take the title. But let's run you through the qualifying order here, as it is going to be Billy Northcutt lining up in pole position, followed by William Hargraves. Zachary Loomis will line up 3, followed by Menda, with Brandon Proudfoot in 5th, and Cody Shaw in 6th. Thomas Vickers will be 7th, followed by Jason Best, and Kevin Davis and J.R. Shepard round out your top 10, John.
Yes, and starting 11th tonight is going to be the 09 there of Jason Dill, and the next row will be the number 81 of Joe Sagala and the number 36 of Jeff Harden. Michael Mennies is going to start after that in the 32, followed by Grady Wade in the 11th. Then Bobby Hayes and Robbie Robinson are going to round out the field here tonight.
Yes, they are, as the iRacing pace truck pulls out of pit lane and brings this field around for 2 formation laps before we get everything ready to rock and roll around here as they go. And it looks like we're going to have our first little bit of a change for the night, unless my eyes deceive me. That is Billy Northcutt starting on the high line.
Yeah, he sure is, and you know, the last you see the slick is, and I think the reason for it is they come out of 4 here. Look how far down the straightaway now this slick is. Starting on the bottom, you be firing in the slick. On the outside, he's going to have a bunch of tacks, so he's going to probably get a little better launch out there.
And that launch could be the difference between victory or defeat here at Knoxville. But we come around here, pace truck lights are off as we get ready to go back racing once more to be able to get everything done. Billy Northcutt will gain control of the field here in just a few moments' time when the green flag flies. But as of right now, they come down on the back straightaway here past the grandstands, working their way into 3, waiting for the signal from Barney the flagman and waiting for that pace truck to scamper off into pit lane. And there it goes. Now all eyes go to Billy Northcutt. Slows down the field, gets on the loud pedal, and there goes the green. We are racing in Knoxville, and that could not have been a more picturesque start for Billy Northcutt. Gets it perfectly, but they fan out 3, 4, almost 5 wide behind him.
Crazy start on for the feature here, but up front, we're still side by side for that lead.
Yes, we are. Northcutt running very, very high. Hargraves down to the inside right now. Looks like Brandon Proudfoot trying to sneak his way up through the middle a little bit there. He's down to the inside right now of Jason Menda trying to make up those positions. The field continues to fan out as they go into turn 1 for the second time. It looks a little bit like Northcutt is losing out to Hargraves, and indeed, Hargraves is going to be categorized as in the lead as they dive into 3 for the second time.
Big slide job by Mendo in front of Proudfoot back there for about 4th place there, but yeah, that outside line looks like that's the place to be here early on.
Yeah, it certainly does, as Loomis and Hargraves are working it very well. Loomis able to have a nose ahead as they exit out of turn 2 there, but it looks like the momentum's going to favor back to Billy Northcutt here at this point. Shepard trying to work his way around farther back in the field, but Proudfoot right now already up 1 position into P4, doing what he needs to do and not trying to take too much of a bite of the apple early. Some of the best running here continues to be up at the front of the field, as that is Billy Northcutt running on the high side with the 22 filling up his rear view mirrors.
Yeah, and they've got a little bit of momentum. They're starting to kind of close back up onto the leader here, and I would just have to wonder if they were just a little less high in the corner, if they could make this work a little bit more. But as they come off the corners, they're getting these massive runs, and right here you see them almost pull even as they go down the front stretch.
Yes, they do, starting on lap 5 here at Knoxville. And another big run, little bit of a slider there from Hargraves. Is that going to sacrifice position over to Northcutt? Northcutt's at least going to be ahead as they dive down into turn 3. Proudfoot still holding on there. Looks like he's actually been able to get around Zachary Loomis and move his way up into P4 right now, into P3 right now. They come out of the corner, and it's advantage back to Billy Northcutt here. I think if I'm Hargraves, I've got to be a little bit worried, because if Northcutt gets on through, that means Proudfoot is going to be able to get on through as well.
Yeah, and Proudfoot's already got his nose to Hargraves outside here as they went down the backstretch, so that outside is starting to come back.
Yes, it certainly is. Loomis trying to be able to find his way as they go. But here it is, coming down now into turn 1 on lap 7. Loomis and Hargraves still down low. Northcutt, Proudfoot still running high, trying to see if he can maybe slot his way up forward. There was Hargraves, but Proudfoot just had too much momentum and wasn't able to get that job done. Now thinking about maybe a little bit of a slider there for Hargraves. No, indeed, but we've got a car spun around in the back of the field. That appears to be the 45 there of Menda, and it looks like that's going to bring out a yellow.
Well, that's a tough break for Menda. He was up front there for the longest time, battling for a top 5.
Yes, he was. It's a pretty heavy front end damage there and collecting.
Oh, he had a lot of help.
Yeah, he certainly did have a lot of help there, pushed around, and then a lot of cars making contact there with him. As we go under yellow here for the first time, this is going to be on lap 8, and so we will have another double wide restart.
Now these guys up front now know what can work, what won't, and I'll tell you, here's something to look for. Hargraves is going to be, well, depending on where, I'm just bet Northcutt's going to pick the outside, but that's going to put the 22, though, of Proudfoot on the inside for this restart and put Loomis to the outside. So that's, I'd be watching that second row here. I'll be watching that second row here when we fire off.
Yeah, that's a very good point. That can really change things up a little bit there, as it looked like that outside lane was really starting to gain in energy, gain in momentum as they brought it around. Looking up at that iRacing pace truck, the lights are still on, so we're going to have one more lap of yellow before we go back to green flag racing. But yeah, I don't think that's really where you want to be down on that low side. It looked like that was just losing everything here, John.
Yeah, once momentum got up. Now, what I did see, though, on that last restart, the first lap or so, the bottom was better. And you know, when you go in and how high these guys were running, that's all timing. And once you've got to do that first lap, it may take those guys a lap or two to kind of get that timing to maximize how much speed that they can carry around the top there. So with that being said, that bottom might be better for the lap or two, and see if they can take advantage of that and maybe move up, but we'll have to see.
Well, and the other thing to keep in mind here is we do have 2 Dirt Panda teammates starting in this front row, and they are going to be keenly aware of what Hargraves is going to need to do to be able to take victory here, not only in the race, but in the championship. So there could be a little bit of gamesmanship going back and forth between the two of them, but we will have to see. Northcutt, as you predicted, starting up on that high lane as the field comes around here, ready to go back racing on lap 9 of this 40-lap feature event. iRacing pace truck heads its way into the pit lane, and Northcutt gets onto the gas there as they go. Good start there for him. Proudfoot had an even better start, though, already threatening behind William Hargraves right now. He's going to try to drive that 22 all the way through the slick stuff, almost makes it 3 wide, has to check himself up, and that's going to lose him some time.
Yeah, but he did get slotted up back up top in front of Loomis there, so he's back where he wants to be here. Now we'll watch these top 2 start to build that momentum. Again, the Hargraves on the inside had the advantage lap 1, but these guys are going to get that outside line wound up and watch them come back.
Ooh, a little bit of contact there with the outside wall for the 22, but he's still able to keep it nice and easy together. He's now going to get a little bit of a run here on Zachary Loomis down to the inside as they fan out once again as high and as low as you can go, trying to see what he can do. Proudfoot timing off the exit of the corner there just a little bit more as they go. Loomis has a nose ahead as they exit out of turn 4, but not enough to be able to get it. Big ka-thunk into the wall there for the 0-0, though, of Billy Northcutt.
Yeah, that was a big shot. And, you know, I don't know. I haven't seen yet what the iRacing's physics will do. He's into the wall again. If you start to bend stuff, all that, it's going to become harder and harder to run that top side.
Yeah, it certainly is. And remember, there is that little bit of a change that has happened to making contact with the wall. It is going to hurt you just a little bit more. There, Diamond's off the corner, and look at that run, able to just power on by Zachary Loomis. So a good run there for Northcutt. Proudfoot looks like he's mired back in P4 right now, and it's not necessarily looking like he's going to be able to get a whole lot. Tries to run it down into the corner right now, and it looks like he's losing ground to Loomis, and he's got to watch out behind because that's Cody Shaw, Kevin Davis, and Thomas Vickers looking like they could maybe make a challenge up onto the 22.
Yeah, I tell you, that top side, I'm surprised it has not panned out the way that I thought it would. I thought maybe that was Northcutt kind of letting his teammate take that lead like you suggested, but the fact that Proudfoot's up there and losing ground to the top 3 tells me he needs to get that car back on the bottom.
Yeah, he really does, and that's exactly what he does now, getting it back down onto the low groove and preventing any more of the bleeding right now. He's going to be able to come down in front of Kevin Davis and try to work his way forward. But Zachary Loomis right now is the one to watch. Catching a big amount of the berm there, though, was Billy Northcutt. That's going to send him up the track a little bit. Joe Segala coming down pit lane. I think he's had some damage at some point as we start work on here on lap 15.
And Proudfoot goes back to the top.
Proudfoot back up to the top side there, maybe trying things out a little bit. He just doesn't look like he's got a feel for the track here tonight, not exhibiting his normal speed that we are used to seeing. But rest assured, if anybody can find some grip around this circuit, it is going to be the 22 of Brandon Proudfoot, as now he's got to worry about the 121 there of Kevin Davis, as this is now the battle to watch. Back down for 5th place, and this is not what Proudfoot needs. Remember, he needs to beat Hargraves in the race here to be able to claim the championship, and right now he's having to fend off attacks from behind, not looking ahead.
Oh, now he's really into the wall. That's going to cost him big time.
And we are hearing some reports that it's a few of those drivers that have gone out. It's front suspension damage. So a little bit of that contact that we were talking
and
about.
Proudfoot's got it because he's barely been able to turn the corner, turn the car up on top.
Oh, this could be terrible here for the 22. Let's ride on board. Yeah, he just can't get the car to go sideways.
No, he can't. I watched that front tires. He's in trouble.
Oh my goodness gracious, I was talking with Brandon before this about those new physics changes here and what that could do, and I never thought in a million years that it would come out to be able to get the 22 to bite him, but it looks like it has. Meanwhile, though, up in the mid-pack here, this is Kevin Davis, J.R. Shepherd, who is on an absolute stomp through the field, up 5 positions, and he and Kevin Davis have really risen through together, and that's also Cody Shaw down to the inside as well. Yeah,
and with Proudfoot continually to lose positions here, I tell you, that battle up front could be renewed here because I think it's going to be, and here you go, you see him battling for the lead.
Yes, indeed, as that is Billy Northcutt trying to get a little bit of a move on here, maybe trying to get by his teammate now that he knows Proudfoot is in some serious trouble.
Loomis just tagged the wall up there.
Oh, he's going to have to be careful. We know what can happen if you get too friendly with that wall. J.R. Shepherd looking like he's able to get it. Yep. Oh, big contact there at the wall. I got to think that's going to be some pretty heavy damage for Zachary Loomis. Is that going to see him plummet down through the field now? Yeah,
I think so. That back end of that car is wiggling all the way down the front straightaway.
Oh my goodness, attrition coming out to play here at the halfway mark in Knoxville. I never would have thought that this would be happening, but here we are as we continue to watch the battle for the lead right now as it continues on there. That is Billy Northcutt getting up onto the berm, trying to drive down his teammate there of Hargraves as they run line astern here to cross the start-finish line.
Yeah, Loomis is losing touch with him. I don't think he's got the kind of damage that I think we saw in Proudfoot, but he is definitely a lot slower. Now the up front, one going up top, one going on the bottom. Well, I'd be real careful going all the way up out of that, up against that wall here if I was any one of those guys.
I would be too, and it looked like Billy Northcutt got very, very flirty with that outside wall. Hargraves, however, running through the slick stuff there, trying to be able to get everything back down and together. He's going to be able to maintain everything as it goes. But we've got another little battle starting to heat itself up here behind. This is that same battle we were watching before, but now Loomis is a little bit of the cork in the bottle at the front of the field between Shepherd, Davis, and Shaw, and now John Wilson is joining into the fray.
Yeah, Loomis just isn't the same after the contact with the wall there, and he's just getting gobbled up now. I think he is in the same boat as Proudfoot is. Those guys need a caution to come in and get those things repaired.
They certainly do, but here on lap 24, about to be 25, we've only seen one on the day. Knock on wood if you are fans of good green flag racing. As Loomis sticking down to the inside there, trying to hold on to something, anything. Big contact into the wall there for the 99 of Cody Shaw. Is that going to hurt him a little bit as he runs? We'll have to see. John Wilson, the one to be able to take advantage if that was some problems for Shaw.
Yeah, Shaw got into it with the back corner of that car. It's these guys that are hitting it with the right front. When that right front is getting into the wall where they're kind of sticking against the wall, that's where I think the damage and the trouble's coming from.
All right, well, Shaw again playing a little bit fast and loose with that outside wall, cutting down low there on John Wilson on lap 26 as they continue to go. This battle looking like it's separating itself out just a little bit, but Wilson now diving down to the inside of the 99 of Shaw, that yellow and gray 75, trying to see what he can do. The Canadian driver now going to be perfectly parallel as they cross over the start-finish line, and he's looking like he wants to get a move on here for the top 6.
Yeah, no, the 99 hits the wall down the backstretch here. I don't know if that contact will make as big of a difference here, but boy, I'd be very, very leery of getting near these walls here.
Would as well, and one driver who is not getting anywhere near those walls is the number 98 here of J.R. Shepherd. We mentioned earlier he likes to run the bottom, and that's what he's been doing, running that middle to bottom the whole race long. Just some good momentum forward here for the Different Path Motorsports driver. He is your second biggest mover on the day of 7 positions. The biggest mover belongs to Robbie Robinson, who's been able to go up 10, starting dead last on the field and finishing right now in 8th place. So a good run there for them, but a little bit of close running there, as that was Kevin Davis trying to take a look down to the inside of J.R. Shepherd, but Shepherd able to rebuff it here as they go.
Yeah, good battle here, though, for that 3rd, 4th, and 5th spot. These guys are right underneath each other, and Davis now has a pretty good look to the inside of Shepherd.
And Proudfoot has come down pit lane. Proudfoot has said the damage is terminal enough. There you can see him coming out with that free repair, but that is going to put him all the way down in 13th position. That is a near death knell to Proudfoot's championship hopes.
Yeah, I'll bet he's pretty surprised on how much damage that actually inflicted on the car. We haven't seen that before, which is good, though, because not for Proudfoot, but it's good for iRacing in general. You guys can get up there and really gain an advantage for just bouncing off the wall, holding the throttle open, and getting speed. Well, we all know in the real world you don't gain speed by hitting the wall, so it's good to see that. Guys are going to have to adjust accordingly.
Yes, they will. And as I mentioned, I talked to Brandon a little bit before the broadcast, and he was saying that he wasn't sure how effective that was going to be and what it was going to happen. It was a big unknown here, and I think, unfortunately, he found out a little bit the hard way. But we keep our eyes focused right now on this battle for P3 with 7 laps to go here at Knoxville. That is Kevin Davis continuing to try to work down to the inside of J.R. Shepherd with a big slide job. He's going to barely be able to catch that car and stop the momentum in time for making contact there with the 98.
And Proudfoot has taken it back to the hauler. And let's be clear, too, I want to be about Proudfoot. He's not one of the guys that was wall riding. I was just talking about the reason why they made the change there. Brandon just got into the fence just through accidental contact there.
Yes, he did, but we keep our eyes focused here, as that is a very, very big heartbreak, though, for Brandon Proudfoot, and that will effectively cede the championship over to William Hargraves, but we will wait for that coronation for about 7 more laps here as we work our way through out of turn 2 right now. Shepherd looks like he's able to hold on right now. Hargraves continuing to lead at the front of the field, and that is going to be Kevin Davis and Cody Shaw trying to close in on the back of the Different Path Motorsports number 98, that blue and green car, trying to do what he can to hold on to a podium.
Yeah, he is, and he's hitting his marks every time, and we've seen JR both on Friday, Saturday nights. This is a guy that doesn't make a lot of mistakes on either night, and once he gets locked down into a rhythm, he is a tough guy to pass.
He certainly is, and it looks like here that Kevin Davis is finding that out the hard way, just not able to get by no matter what he tries to be able to do here as they work their way through 1 and 2 once again. Shepherd just running that car right through the slick stuff, doing a really good job. Big wiggle there from Kevin Davis coming on the exit of the corner. I'd imagine that's just a little bit too much throttle input coming down. Here's another driver to talk about, though, Cody Shaw having a good run. He is up 1 spot on the day. Started in 6th place. He runs in 5th right now. If he's able to hold on to a 5th place finish here, a top 5, that's going to be something he can hang his hat on.
Yeah, nice way to start. Like I said, another relative newcomer, and he's up towards the front, so I expect good things from him moving forward. He's able to stay up here and run with the leaders.
Yeah, he certainly is, and I look forward to seeing him for the full length of next season here in the Bootleg Racing League's Dirt Street Stock Series, because that's right.
Oh, we got an accident. That's Northcutt.
Oh my goodness, that is Billy Northcutt and a little bit of lap traffic there. That's the number 11 of Grady Wade. I think there was just some miscommunication, and 2nd place has gone off into the barriers.
Yeah, and actually, you got to put that one on Northcutt. He was not clear and just tried to move right on over, and it turned him nose first into that wall.
I hate to rub salt into a wound, but I have to agree with you there on that one, John. That is on Billy Northcutt there. And wow, oh wow, so that is about to set up here a 2-lap sprint to the finish. Remember, this will be in single file order here, and the order we will be Hargraves, Shepherd, Davis, Shaw, Wilson, your top 5.
Yeah, and you and here it is. I mean, this is, you're gonna have to lay it on the line here when this thing gets going. So you don't have a whole lot of time to make a plan or try to work a guy over. If you see an opening, you got to take it.
Yeah, indeed you do. As there you can see Hargreaves just trying to keep some heat into the tires there, maybe feeling out the track just a little bit as they go. But lights still on the iRacing pace truck, so we still have that time left. As we said, this is going to be a 2-lap shootout here for these drivers. And for William Hargreaves, this has got to be absolutely nerve-wracking. He had this race sewn up, he had the championship sewn up, and he's now got to try this one more time, do a restart here, and just hope everything works the way he wants it to.
Yeah, with Proudfoot off the track and gone, I mean, all he has to do is to make sure he finishes this race at this point. So, I think there's a little less pressure there maybe, but you want to end that on a high note. You want to win the race, win the championship. That's how you go out in style.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want to do. Is pace truck lights are out here. Control of the field shortly shifting over to William Hargreaves as he goes. Remember, he is the defending champion here in the series. And we are getting confirmation, by the way, that we will get an update on points as soon as they come. Checks up the field, now gets on the loud pedal, and that's going to throw quite a few drivers for a little bit of a kerfluffle, and we've already got it in the back. That's Robbie Robinson around, and just as quick as you please, we've got another yellow.
Yeah, I don't know if that was a brake check or what that was. Slowing down maybe a little bit, and that's what can happen when you play games.
Yeah, this looks like Robinson here, Wilson, the 45 there of Menda. I think somebody just pulled out at the beginning and just a big checkup there. I'm not really sure who to put the blame on there necessarily, John.
It was up front. I think, I don't know, like I said, without looking at telemetry, I don't know if somebody was slowing down or maybe trying to back up to get a run on the person in front of them or whatever, or someone could have anticipated, thought they were going to fire and didn't, and had to hit the brakes. But that started in the first maybe 4 or 5 cars, and that just that was an accordion kind of deal.
All right, so we've got to do this all over again, and we get ready for another 2-lap shootout here. Hopefully no more yellows come out. Knock on all the wood you've got.
Joe Segala needs to pit. If we can get a shot of him, you look at that back left rear tire, he's going to be in for a rude awakening when they go green.
Well, a little bit of damage there for the 81. That's not what he wants to hear, I am sure. But now, as everything brings their way around, I have to imagine the lights will go out this time by on the iRacing pace truck. If not, it should be only one to go here after that. But we wait. I do have confirmation, by the way, the Proudfoot is in the hauler. He is out of the race, so he has officially forfeited today's event, and he will not be able to hold on to that championship. But the lights are indeed out on the iRacing pace truck, which means we're ready to go back green for a second shot at a 2-lap shootout to the finish.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, that damage, though, is going to be really big when we go to places next season like Fairbury, Kokomo, and things like that, where you run up against that wall, boy, I tell you, that's going to change the way these guys race at a lot of tracks.
Yeah, it certainly is. As now we wait, though, for Hargreaves to get onto the gas. And there he goes. A little bit of a cleaner start throughout the rest of the field. Looks like a pretty good move there in the back from Billy Northcutt to be able to get a move done on the drivers. As Hargreaves is going to go down low. Hold on to that low line. J.R. Shepard and Kevin Davis trying to hold in behind as they run. They've got a pretty big break on the rest of the field. But Hargreaves dives it down through 3 and 4 for the penultimate time. Waiting to see if there's going to be anything firing off from behind him. It looks like John Wilson's trying to hold off Cody Shaw for 4th place, but we've got to keep our eyes focused right on the leader who's taken the white flag here at Knoxville. Holding down on the low line is William Hargreaves. Comes out of 2 for the final time. Down the backstretch right now. He brings the car into 3 and 4. Looking down through the corner. J.R. Shepard going to be following close behind him. Checkered flag gets ready to fly, and William Hargreaves will take victory at Knoxville.
What a race. Boy, I tell you, there's a whole lot that went on that packed into that whole race there, and we learned a lot and seen some things we hadn't seen before. But William Hargreaves not only wins the race, he's our champion.
We believe he is our champion. We are waiting for the statisticians to give us that official number, but I've got to believe that it is Hargreaves here. Let's run you through the final finishing order, though, before we move on to podium interviews, as in that winning position it was William Hargreaves, followed by J.R. Shepard and Kevin Davis in third. Cody Shaw came home fourth, followed by John Wilson, with Jason Menda, Michael Mennies, Billy Northcutt, Robbie Robinson, and Thomas Vickers rounding out your top 10.
And coming home 11th is going to be the 11 of Grady Wade, followed by Joe Segala, Zachary Loomis, and Jason Dill. Brandon Proudfoot is going to come home 15th tonight. Tough break for him, followed by Bobby Hayes and then Jason Best. And Jeffrey Harden is going to round out the field.
Right, as we wait here for the drivers to join us in the interview booth. John, what a race, what a season. This is exactly the kind of action that you really hope to expect here from this series, and it's why I love coming back on Friday nights to call it.
Absolutely, and you know, the other thing to be, other than the good racing, another thing to be really excited about, we saw a lot of fresh faces here tonight. You know, it continues to get new guys in, and hopefully they stick around for a while, and always fun to see a good group of guys, and then when they all get together, boy, do they put on a show.
They certainly do put on a show, the show of shows, as it were. As we wait here, I believe William Hargreaves finishing up spraying some champagne down in the victory circle here and being joined by Shepard and Davis, just waiting for them to join us here in the booth. I'm very, very excited to be able to talk to all three of them, as this was a fantastic race. And John, we should also take this time to announce that Friday night's not going to be the Dirt Street Stock Series, not going to be the only thing running here, as we are going to have the Sprint Car Trails starting up next season.
Yeah, I am really excited about that. You know, that's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to do the old USAC. You know, I wasn't this old, so it's not going back to my time, but a lot of my heroes, they ran the USAC schedule, which included the Silver Crown cars, the midgets, the big Indy cars, everything else. So we're going to do the same. We're going to do the Silver Crown, Asphalt Sprint, the non-wing 360s, and the midgets. We're going to have overall champion that can run the whole points. We're going to have dirt champions, asphalt champions, even individual car champions. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I think it's going to be extremely fun to watch.
I got to agree with you there, and now it is time to bring up William Hargreaves, as we can officially confirm to the tune of about 30 points. William Hargreaves, you are back-to-back champion in the Bootleg Racing League.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, huh?
Yes, it is. Talk me through that race, man. You just looked like you were on it from the get-go.
I was pretty well committed to the bottom. I knew with that update I didn't want to go up to the top because I didn't know what was going to happen to the car. I haven't raced it enough. I've heard stories about people getting a lot of damage, and that new damage model was quite the different deal. And it looked like tonight it was definitely true for a good handful of drivers.
Yeah, it certainly was. And I want to talk to you a little bit earlier on in the race when Brandon was really up there challenging you. You and your teammate Billy Northcutt running pretty close together. Were the two of you in communication, maybe playing a little bit of team games to try to get you the championship, or was it just all out racing?
No, that was all out hard racing. He's not going to give me any race win by any means, especially not in the BRL Racing League. I can tell you that. Everybody races hard and clean, and I know he wouldn't do that for me, and we definitely didn't have no communication about it. But we were going back and forth there at the start early on. I could get a good start on the bottom on him, but it seemed like as the tires heated up there a little bit or laps went on, the top was stronger there at the start, it seemed like.
Well, it certainly did, and I've got to ask you, we've got the schedule for next year, some new tracks coming on in. Anything you're excited for, any goals you have for next season, anything on the horizon?
I'm just here to have fun on Friday nights and run with a great group of guys and whatnot. If I could win 3 in a row, sure, great, that'd be awesome. But like I said, honestly, it's more than just winning championships or even just winning races here. I like it in this league, and they're hard to come by.
Couldn't agree with you more. I love the action that you guys put on. But William, anybody you'd like to thank for your championship season and for this race here today?
I just got to start off thanking you guys for doing the broadcast every week. You guys do a heck of a job, and I always look forward to even going back and watching a race or two or whatever, and the ability to let others watch is pretty cool. I got to thank Luell for putting this on for everybody to race. Everybody that throws in and sponsors and makes this thing happen every year or every season. I got to thank Wild Bales Race Designs, all my Dirt Panda Racing teammates, Viv's Retail Liquor, Melm Electric Motorsales.com, KC Speedworks for giving us fast setups in the open class, and just everybody that supports BRL Bootleg Racing League, and everybody that watches week in and week out.
Well, thank you so much, and William, congratulations again.
Thanks, guys.
All right, that was William Hargraves, your series champion. And now, John, it looks like you've been able to catch up with J.R. Shepard, our second-place finisher.
Yeah, hey, JR, this is John up in the booth. You got a copy?
John.
Well, my friend, nice eventful run there, coming up through the pack all the way up to take home second here tonight. Walk me through your race and tell me the challenges that you faced.
Yeah, it seems like this car drives a little bit different after the update that iRacing put out, and I didn't think it was going to favor me, but thankfully the track kind of slickened up throughout the race quite a bit. It got to where it was slick everywhere, and really expected that the top lane was going to be the dominant lane. It was really fast early, and then as soon as that cushion wore down, it was just nothing up there. So yeah, just spent most of the night trying to move around and find a place to work, and it looked like that second lane was really fast, and that's where I made all the passes early.
Well, I tell you, that's a great way to end the season and give you some momentum going into the off season. Next weekend, though, is the Shootout. What are your thoughts about crawling in a late model next weekend?
I like the late models. I'm not very fast in them at all, so we'll have to see how that goes. But look forward to doing that event. It's a cool event that we do each and every year, and hopefully we can be a part of it and put on a good show.
Well, congratulations again on a good run here tonight. We look forward to seeing you in that late model next week. Who would you like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, thanks, John. Just really appreciate the Bootleg Racing League for putting this on each and every week, Fridays and Saturday nights we race, and to you guys at the Virtual Grip Network for doing a great job making us look good, and to my team, Different Path Motorsports, and give a shout out to William for a great season. He's been a great champion, been really hard to beat, so congratulations to him.
Well, congratulations again, JR. Great season for you. We look forward to seeing what you can do next season. That's JR Shepard, our second place finisher tonight.
All right, and I've been able to catch up with our third place finisher here in the 121, a newer face here into the league, Kevin Davis. And Kevin, first off, congratulations on being able to run up there, up a couple of positions on the day. That was a hard-fought battle.
Yes, sir. We struggle in qualifying, it seems like every week, but I love when the track gets slick, so we've been trying to get up here, and I'm happy that we finally made it to the podium. It's unfortunate for Billy and that mishap, but I'll take the podium. I feel like I earned this one as hard as I had to drive.
Well, you certainly did have to drive, my friend, and you were one of the ones that was kind of playing up and down all over the track a little bit. Talk to me about how this car is feeling now with these new updates being put on it. Is it suiting your driving style a little bit more, or did you have to change some things up?
Ever since they updated them, I've had to play with different force feedback settings and just trying to get that realistic feel back. I've always liked a heavier wheel, almost like you're running out of power steering fluid. And it just helps in these slick tracks of being able to control it. And they've had a little bit of a difference to them, but not too much. It's a little bit of a learning curve and some corrections, but we've picked up on it pretty well.
Well, I've got to ask you the seemingly obvious question. Are we going to see you back for next season? And then what are some goals or what are some tracks that you're looking forward to as we kick up?
I mean, honestly, I like about 90% of the tracks on the service. I like the little tiny bull rings, though, especially. But I'm definitely going to be back next season. We joined late this season. A buddy of mine, Brian Lawson, teammate, he told me about the series we got in here, so we really wasn't a contender for the points. But I feel like this is a great group of guys to run with. I really enjoy coming and running with them on Friday nights, and I think we're going to try to fight for some points next season.
Well, I wish you all the luck in the world, Kevin. But as for today, for this podium, is there anybody you want to thank?
Yes, sir. I want to thank Downrange Transport for providing me all my race gear and setting up the service and keeping it rolling so that we can do what we want to do and put on a show for the fans. I also want to thank Team Venom, Brian, Malachi, and Butch Baker. They all running this league with me. We have a great time, great group of guys. We always try to help each other. And I want to thank a buddy of mine, Jeff, Havoc of Masashi. He's a Twitch gamer as well. If anybody wants to check out his link, just look at a picture on my car. You'll see a little dude holding a beer mug. He's a cool guy to watch play games.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Kevin, and congratulations again on this podium today.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
All right, that was Kevin Davis, your third place finisher. And folks, that's going to wrap us up, not only for tonight, but indeed for the season, as we crown William Hargraves your champion for the second time running. But don't worry, there is plenty of more racing action to come here on the Virtual Grip Network, including the next Dirt broadcast, which is going to be the second annual Seneca Steel Shootout, which will be next Friday, September 16th at I-55 Speedway in those late models, live at 7:10 p.m. Eastern Time. The next broadcast on the channel itself will be tomorrow, September 10th, as the BRL Super Late Model Series has their season finale from Myrtle Beach Speedway. That'll go live at 9 p.m. Eastern. This has been a production of Virtual Grip Network, and on behalf of myself, DJ Clark, John Hine, as well as Mike Yao up in our directing and producing booth, it has been a pleasure to bring you the action today. And until we see you on the track, thanks for watching.